All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to 718 Sports. My name is Miles. I'm joined with my boy Isaiah. How you doing, Isaiah, today?
I'm doing good. Miles, how are you?
I'm great, man. I mean, look, last night, great Super Bowl game. Kansas City Chiefs defeated the 49ers in the Super Bowl for the second time in 5 years. Man, oh man, what do you think about that, Isaiah?
I mean, I honestly, I didn't watch a lot of the game. I'll be honest with that. But I was very disappointed. I did not like the whole narrative this year with Taylor Swift and the Chiefs. I
Mhm.
think you would agree with that.
Yep.
So I was very disappointed in how that game ended.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, the whole narrative around Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, it's about the football, right? As football
Mhm.
fans, we're looking forward to football. And for me, like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift should not be the story. It should be the Kansas City Chiefs and what they've accomplished this year and the ups and downs that they've had. The fact that they were in a spot that they almost weren't even going to win the division. People thought the Raiders, the Chargers would have a real shot at it. And now to see that they've come all the way, clutched up, and are now Super Bowl champions on top. And the narrative is now on Taylor Swift is a little disappointing, but great season by the Kansas City Chiefs. Clearly a dynasty now. I mean, you look at
Mhm.
that team, right? That's three Super Bowls in 5 years. He's outpacing Tom Brady. And as much as people don't like talking about Mahomes and how good he is, but the dude is good, man. I mean, have you
That
seen
team
this
is just
kid? Like,
that roster for the
unbelievable.
Chiefs is really not like that strong. It's really
Mhm.
comes through what? They have three Hall of Famers. They have Andy Reid, Travis Kelce and Mahomes, and then Darius Tony. Like they
There he
really
is.
that roster is not deep. It's real. They just have three
Yeah.
amazing Hall of Fame level players and coaches that really just carry that squad.
Mhm. Especially with Andy Reid, right? I mean, he was in the league for so long, had never won a ring. And so, when people are upset that the Chiefs won, just remember that Andy Reid was in the league for a long time with the Philadelphia Eagles, never could break that, streak
Yeah.
of losing. Finally did. And it's just super exciting. It's super exciting as a fan to see a coach like that go from like being a joke, a meme basically, to
Yeah.
can't win the Super Bowl to now you're like the dynasty. You're one of the best head coaches ever. And that whole narrative just clicks like that, just shifts, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
How
But
would you compare these Chiefs to the Brady dynasty? Because that's what we grew up watching. We grew up
right.
watching Brady winning and winning, and now a new
Exactly.
generation is just seeing Mahomes and Andy Reid.
And I was watching the game, right, with all these Patriots fans because I go to school in New England. And so what happens is they're like, now we know how you guys are feeling for all those times when Tom Brady would just casually win Super Bowls over and over again. It's kind of like the same feeling, right? Of just like
Yeah.
Mahomes is going out, he's winning games and
And
winning
nobody likes him.
championships, and
No
no
one
one
likes him.
likes
Yeah.
him. They're getting like the media on their side now, and people are getting really upset. And same thing. I mean, literally outpacing the Patriots dynasty.
Yeah.
And if we're going to talk about the Patriots, I mean, they were really good for 15 plus years. And, this is what,
Yeah.
year about 4 or 5. So the best is yet to come for Mahomes and this team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think like who's their real competition in the AFC? The
Yeah.
Ravens, who
Ravens.
haven't really done much. Lamar's a great player, but they really haven't done much. The
Yep.
Chargers, I'm a Michigan fan, have a whole new coaching staff, but are they really contenders? Like,
Right.
I can't really think of a team that just like can outpower the Chiefs in the AFC. The
Right.
NFC is stacked, but
Right.
like the Bills are proven they can't do anything in the playoffs.
Right.
I can't think of anybody else.
I mean, all the other teams have that question mark around them of can they win? Buffalo
Yeah,
every year, it's like, can they get through the Chiefs?
Miami.
Thing with the Ravens, Miami, exactly. All the roads lead through Kansas City. Even if Kansas City doesn't have home field advantage, even if Kansas
Yeah.
City has to go on the road, it's running through Mahomes. The league
And
has to be
every
running
team,
through
and
it.
every one of those teams you named is also has a better roster than the Chiefs. It's just
Right.
full of experience.
Right. Exactly. People don't talk about experience. Like, sure, on paper, the Ravens might be the better team this year. Like,
Yeah.
kicking a lot of butt this year. But I mean, Kansas City has that experience. They have the coaching experience. As much people like dog on Matt Nagy, I mean, he was a good coach.
Yeah.
He's a good offensive coordinator for this team. Steve Spagnuolo, the defense coordinator of the Chiefs as well, was a former head coach of the Giants. That's for like a little bit. It's the only reason I really remember him. But I mean, like, look, they got a bunch of dogs over there in Kansas City, man. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's amazing to see, but, not everyone's appreciative of it.
How
And
did you feel that? the 49ers players didn't know the overtime rules.
That was
I didn't
insane.
know them personally, but like I was surprised
Look,
with the players
yeah,
knowing them.
as a fan, I was like, all right, so what happens if this happens? Like
Yeah,
whatever. But I mean, when you got the 49ers literally admitting that we didn't know what was going on, I'm like, that's a little concerning.
that's not a
Especially,
team ready to win.
right, especially considering that Kansas City studied, they watched the film, they were prepared for overtime, and kind of like, it's a real possibility now. And I mean, for years they were like, it's never going to happen. And then it happened in Super Bowl 51 with the Falcons, the Patriots. And once that happened, I'm like, this could very easily be a brand new thing, especially with the league is going with these close games and the last possession matters. And I
Yeah,
mean, it's so amazing to think about with these 49ers team. This 49ers team this year is like a couple things could have went well for them in that game. The whole narrative would have been different. It would have been
yeah.
Mahomes underperformed. Kelsey blew up on his coach, um, which
That was just a
that
crazy
was
thing.
insane. Um, but again, those little plays at the end of the
Yeah,
games, that's what determines, a Super Bowl champion.
yeah,
And Kansas City, case in, can out, like every single year, they just do it. They just do it, you know? Same
yeah.
thing with that Patriot team for so long. They just find ways to win, even with
That's
Denver
the
Broncos
experience.
and the,
Yeah,
yeah, everyone just straight up experience.
yeah.
How do you handle the pressure? How do you handle the ability? Do you get in your head? Because honestly, I thought Kyle Shanahan got in his head a little bit with the
You
last
think?
few plays of just running it, not running it over and over again, throwing, 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 throwing. As much as Brock is a great quarterback, I mean,
He
Brock
doesn't have all the
Purdy,
tools of like a superstar. He's just a
right?
very good game manager.
Exactly. He's not proven. As much as he's good, like I'm going to be completely honest, take Kittle away, take Debo away, take Brandon Ayuk away. Is this the same quarterback we're talking about, Isaiah?
Personally, if you guys know, I'm a Lions fan. You know that when Jared Goff got traded, I was very anti Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Very anti. Went from a superstar Matt Stafford to
Hmm.
guy didn't really do. Got an amazing team. He had Todd Gurley, Robert Woods, amazing team at the Super Bowl. So in the last 2 years, he's proven that like a game manager with a good team can do anything.
Right.
So I agree with that. He's not the same quarterback, but
Hmm.
he can run, he can throw. We don't know what type of quarterback he could be. They
Right.
picked him over Trey Lance. What was he? The third pick in the draft. They
Yeah.
chose him to lead the game because he just
Right.
worked well. Jimmy
Exactly.
Garoppolo, he's probably a Hall of Fame game manager. He's what? Did it on the Patriots, was doing it on the Raiders for maybe a few games, but
Yeah.
he just runs the game. He can't run, he can't throw. He just runs the game.
Yeah. But I mean,
Fitzpatrick too. That's another guy who's just
right.
knows what he has to do, knows how to win games, but isn't a superstar. He can just do the fundamentals.
Right. The fundamentals, goes a long way. I mean, as much as people talk about the elite quarterback, if they don't have those weapons around them, it's not much you can do. And that's what, as a Giants fan, I've been screaming
That's
about for
the
years
Giants. Yeah.
because everyone throws a shade at Daniel Jones, being like, it's all his fault. But I mean, their number one at wideout is Darius Slayton and the worst O line of the league. So it's not much you can do other than just throw the ball, run the ball, and maybe fumble it once in a
Yeah.
while. So when people give, Daniel Jones a difficult time, it's like, if you put him on the any other team, basically, and he would be a pretty successful guy. So, anyways,
Well, on
Super
that
Bowl,
note, what do you think about him? You think he'll stay as a Giants quarterback next
Daniel
year?
Jones. Oh my
So
God.
it's their early NFL free agent take.
Early NFL free agency take. Daniel Jones has to stay the quarterback as the Giants. He
Do you
has to.
draft a quarterback though?
No way. No way.
This is a deep quarterback draft. This is a
No way.
very deep. This is the deepest it's been since Lamar's rookie year.
Right.
It's a very deep draft.
Very deep year. And it's tough, man, because, Jones had not a great year. I'll admit it. Like, as much as, we give him a hard, he had a bad year. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't play well. There was days where I was like, maybe Tyrod Taylor is the guy.
Wow.
Maybe he gets the shot because, until that Rams game where he just like completely messed it up. But I mean, you have to give Daniel Jones another shot. Not because of Daniel Jones, but because of the contract you gave Daniel Jones. You
Mm.
gave him 4 years, $160 million. You can't not pay him. Yeah, you said wow. But listen, the reason you pay him is he has all that talent. And I mean, he took a team that wasn't supposed to do anywhere into the playoffs that one year against the Vikings, won a playoff game. He proved himself. And I mean, it was difficult, but I mean, you got to give him another shot. You got to give him the weapons. You got to give him the right offensive line. You got to give him the right coaching. And,
That's a lot, though. That's a lot to do in like what? He's 3 more years left.
right.
That's a long
Mhm.
time. Like the
Yep.
Niners, you took the Niners. The Niners drafted their whole team. Same thing with Kansas City. Those are the teams that win, and
Right.
that took a long. That took Niners being crappy for however many years since that Super Bowl. Chiefs even
Exactly.
longer. It takes a long time to do
It's a
that.
long time, man. And it's tough, you know. As a Giants fan, I love Daniel Jones, but he makes some pretty bad plays sometimes. You know, there's just it's gotten better over the years, but man, there's some plays. I think there's one in particular. The Giants are up like 14-0 on Dallas. You know, he was in the, you know, I don't know, he was on like the 30-yard line of Dallas, you know, had a guy wide open, got sacked, ball came out, strip sack, fumble, touchdown. I was just
Mhm.
like, get this guy off the field, man. I mean, come on. You know, you cannot allow that to happen. Even this year with that pick six by Witherspoon against the Seahawks, it's just like the momentum just whoosh gone, right?
Yeah.
He was at the 5-yard line, like second and goal, like, all right, Giants can make this a one-score game. 1, 2, 3 turns, pick, go all the way. Now it's a 21-3 game. And, you know, Dayball's giving it to him on the sideline. It was just like, all right, it's one of these games again, one of the Daniel Jones games. You know, it's tough.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, I kind of wish I was a Lions fan now because it's like, you know,
It's taking a lot. It's
done
taking
over the
even
past few
longer
years.
to deal with that, but. Dude, the Lions, I can't be the Lions. The Lions still scare me. This whole year
Yeah.
was great, but
Mhm.
every game is just like,
Right.
this is our last chance, you know?
Right. And it's those aggressive play calls by Campbell. I mean, it's just like I was almost moved to tears when they beat the Rams. I was almost moved to tears. I can't imagine how you guys are feeling up in Michigan, but like, my goodness, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, for a team that's been like mediocre, terrible, awful the past.
Don't even say mediocre, just
Yeah,
not a good, historically bad,
yeah.
historically with Jacksonville, historically bad franchise.
Cleveland, yeah.
Don't even bring up Cleveland. That just like, Cleveland's is a whole different story.
Cleveland is his own category. Yeah,
That's just Cleveland sports in general.
yeah, that's just Cleveland
All right,
sport.
Cleveland.
Cleveland Guardians. Sorry, Cleveland fans. Hopefully, I'm not offending you guys, but man,
Uh,
well, and they got the Cavs in 2016, but yeah,
I mean, that's still a long time ago. That was the last
long
time the
time.
Guardians were good
That's 8 years
too.
ago, which is crazy, but
Yeah.
what's
Time
8 years
flies,
ago?
man. Time flies.
Yeah, NBA, man. What do we, you know? I mean, you're a Pistons fan. It's a little brutal right now for you. Not the best
I've
for
been
you.
waiting for this day.
Yeah.
Talk about
Are
trade
we
deadline. I want to hear your takes on
trade deadline?
I want to
Oh
hear your
my
takes,
goodness.
and then I'll
This
hop
trade
in.
deadline was terrible. And
Well, I
it's
want to hear as a Nets fan, I
as a
want to
Nets fan, this as a Nets fan, they did there was good and there was bad, right?
hear.
You got rid of Spencer Dinwiddie. That's something they had to do. You had to get rid of Spencer. As much as I love Spencer, he's not bringing it to the team. He's not bringing it offensively.
Not same player that he was originally in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his head is out of the game. He's not the
Mm.
same player he
He's also
was.
older. He's
Got to move him
way
out.
older.
Yeah. And so I really like him to the Lakers. I think that's a really good move by the Lakers. I think, you know, him and D'Lo back in Los Angeles. It hurts because I'm a Nets fan. I love him so
Yeah,
much.
I expected D'Lo to be on the Raptors. I was very not
Right.
Raptors, sorry, the Nets. I was very surprised he didn't get moved and
Right.
wasn't on the Nets. That would
Exactly.
also bring like what was it, 2018, 2019. That Nets team was so fun.
That
And
Nets
that
team.
team just when that team broke up, that the day that Karis LeVert was traded was one of the saddest days I've had as an NBA fan. I loved Karis in New York. I'm happy his cancer is all gone, but when the Harden trade went down, that was
Right.
insanity.
Yeah.
That entire team broke up with that.
Yeah. I mean, you had Dinwiddie, you had Jared
D'Lo,
Allen. I had a Jared Allen jersey, man. I mean, like I was
I miss him. Yeah, I
locked
miss
in.
the Fro.
The Fro is, you know, he's a dog, man. He's really good.
He's underused and undervalued on the Cavs. It
Yeah,
sucks. It's like that team's
exactly.
full of bigs, and he's not even like the primary center.
I know. Put him on any other team. I mean, Claxton's a dog, though. I mean,
Claxton, I
Dean
do love
Claxton.
Claxton.
Yeah,
Claxton, since his rookie year, has been proving so
right.
much.
Yeah. Talks a little too much trash, but other than
I
that,
mean, you need that sometimes.
yeah,
Like, I think Isaiah Stewart talks a little too much trash
yeah,
because he's not the same level as Claxton too. Claxton's
right,
like certified everyday starter. Isaiah Stewart's really not that.
right, exactly, right. man. But you got the Royce O'Neal for 3 second-round picks. I like that move.
Mhm.
Get the reinforcements. Royce O'Neal is never really that guy in Brooklyn. I thought he's not a bad player, but I mean, Royce O'Neal. I mean, what do you even expect out of Royce
Yeah.
O'Neal?
Yeah.
Um, and then I don't know. All these reports about Mikal Bridges moving teams, particularly the Rockets offered him
I'm
at
going to
love.
stop you right there. I
Yeah.
was very, very disappointed when I saw the TikTok you made about why they should trade him. Very disappointed. I need to hear that again. That was the worst take I think I've ever heard you make.
Mhm.
I want to hear your
Yeah.
opinion on
So
that.
follow
Worst
Miles Talk
I've ever heard.
Sports, my TikTok. I've been making videos, and we're just getting started here on 718 Sports. But I mean, look, the Brooklyn Nets are sitting 11th place right now. Am I wrong? 11th place.
Mhm.
21-28 as of this recording. The next two games are in Boston. Not very good. Not a
21
great.
and 30. Yeah, 21 and 30.
Do you think the Nets are gonna win a championship? I'm
And then
asking you. Do you think the
this
Nets
year, in the next few years,
in the next few years? Right. Here's my
I
problem.
think, yeah, I think if you trade Mikal Bridges, you have zero chance. You have
Right.
zero chance the next 10 years if you trade him.
Hmm. Well, my argument is then trade Mikal Bridges, you get your first round picks back, and now you're looking at you got Houston your picks back, and you got Phoenix's picks because of the Durant trade, correct?
Yeah.
So now you got two first round picks for like 4 or 5 years, which is fantastic. Build off of that, right? Sign a few veteran guys, draft up, build that like young team, start it up again. Because right now, look, Mikal Bridges is a great player. There's no denying it. I love Mikal Bridges. He's a great player. The dude cannot be the number one on a team. He can't. He cannot be the number one on a team. And who's the number two? Cam Johnson. He's underperforming. Claxton, he's a great big, but I mean, is when Claxton's your number two guy, you're not really going to scare a lot of teams, especially in the East where you got Embiid, Giannis, you got, I mean, the Celtics, like
Tatum, yeah. You have
Celtics top
Cleveland,
five players are better than the Nets
Pacers,
best
yeah,
player, in my opinion.
yeah.
I mean, there's no way the Nets can go up with a big dog. The Knicks, I mean, you've seen what
But
the Knicks are
but
doing.
I will say the thing that all those teams have in common is
Yeah.
that they built through the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And they drafted their star, which the Nets didn't do,
Right.
but they built around that. When Embiid was there, they brought Embiid, Jimmy Butler, they brought him Tobias Harris. They
Right.
gave him everything. It wasn't enough, but
Yeah.
they gave him that. Giannis, Chris
Yeah,
Middleton.
not a great example.
Yeah, but you see the teams build through that. They
Yeah.
trade their picks, they
Yep.
move around, they get those guys. I
Mhm.
think that the Nets are rougher now. They have what? Cam Johnson, McCall, Claxton. That's their three.
Yep.
Everybody else, you got to think about how much do you need them. You got to build around those three guys.
And
I
Simmons.
haven't seen a scorer like, oh, yeah, Simmons, trade Simmons. He's not good enough. I haven't seen a scorer like Cam Johnson since like prime Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal in the Wizards was like that one of the best scorers in the NBA, and he's at that level, and you can't waste that potential.
Right.
Like he's
Not at all.
only about basketball. You can't waste that.
Can't erase that at all. It's tough, man, because I think, you know, my mentality about it is just very like you either are a good team or you just got to blow it up.
Yeah.
And, that's something that just that's my mantra. I never think a team should just like be proud to be the 7 seed. I think a team should either fully invest into what they're doing to win a championship or say, you know what, this isn't working, time to move on. And I think a lot of teams are going through that transition of, being good to great or bad to worse. I mean, give credit to where credit. The Orlando Magic right now doing fantastic.
Yeah, but they also this thing though, they also have great
Right.
team chemistry, which the Nets don't have right now because the team's
Mhm.
been what very Durant got traded last year. The
Right.
team's really new. The
Right.
Magic have been building for Mo Wagner got drafted what 4 years ago?
Yeah.
He
Which
got
is
yeah,
exactly why I think the Nets should do what they're doing. Because you saw what the Magic are doing. I'm not saying the Magic are like an amazing team and
yeah.
win the championship. I think they're going to be good in the next 2 or 3 years.
Hmm.
But you notice how they built up. They always had a great first round pick. It was eventually one of
But
those guys was
they
going
were
to.
really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
Do you want to like with the talent that the Nets have? They even have Cam Johnson with the talent that they have.
Mhm.
Dennis, I love the Dennis Schroeder trade. I think that made a lot of sense. Thaddeus Young is solid, but do you really want to blow that team up even more to like yes, win a championship maybe or compete 10 like we'll say 7 years from now.
Right.
But you have so many pieces now that have value. Do you really want to like move that around more? I say build on it, but I it's not my choice, sadly, but
Yeah. I think every fan goes out and says, I could be the GM of the specific
yeah,
NBA team, but no way. No way are
yeah,
some of these guys going to be the commissioner. If I was the commissioner of or GM of a team or whatever, I mean, I'd be fired in a week. Like, I'll be so honest.
yeah,
I'm just a college kid. I don't know what I'm talking about in that terms. That's a whole nother thing. You got to bring money, you got to bring agents, you got to bring contracts. It's all a whole different business. So we can say, oh yeah, just sign, Jalen Brunson to a supermax deal. It's easier said than done. You have to go through a lot of steps. Uh,
yeah.
so it's tough, man, because the Nets are a good team, but they're not a great team. They're not a terrible team. Like they're not
They're that mid
right
team,
there.
right in the middle.
And if they just had like one or two more great players, this whole narrative could be
Yeah.
completely different.
I mean, I don't know. Jimmy Butler has that X factor in the playoffs. If his team gets him into the playoffs, he's like a different breed.
Yeah,
Every playoff team has that, like that one X factor guy. And
right.
I guess you're right. McCall really isn't that guy right now, but they really need to find that guy because KD and Curry wanted to come to Brooklyn and play after that one
Right.
amazing year. And
Right.
that changed everything. I know tickets for us went like through the roof. We couldn't afford that.
Nope.
Like it just changes everything when you find that player. And I mean, back to the Knicks, like the Knicks had an amazing trade deadline. That was as a Pistons fan, I was dying inside. But the Knicks went from like first round exits, like they could possibly they're not going to win it, but they could compete for a title now.
Really?
They
Okay.
they
Okay.
have the depth
Okay.
throughout the
One
lineup.
statement you said there, you said they're going to be first round exits before. So you think that getting Bogdan Bogdanovic is going to push them from a first round exit to maybe a championship? I don't think so.
I'm not saying they're winning. I don't think they're going
Okay.
to. I think that they went to what the second round last year. They beat the Cavs the
Yeah.
first round, right?
They're going to make a
Yeah.
deep run this year for
They
sure.
have a lot of depth. They have a lot of
Yeah.
shooting, and
Don't have
they
Evan
don't
Fournier
have the
anymore.
bigs though. They don't have the bigs
Right.
that I think they should have gone out for. They could have gone for Capella. I think they should have gone for DeJounte Murray. I think that would have been another like X factor type player that you need in this. You have what? You have Brunson, Murray, Anunoby, like Randall Mitchell. That's an insanely good starting five.
Great starting five.
Yeah, they just have very good like the Warriors teams that we grew up watching were just full of depth. And
Right.
they're building towards that level of like another they need one or two more stars and then they have the bench lineup to like get them through the playoffs.
Right. And it's tough, man. Speaking of, you know, social media has been blowing up with the Orlando Magic, Orlando Magic. Well, it's actually like I
Whoa.
played it like in my car just for like an hour the other day. Just I was like,
Oh,
this is fantastic.
love that
And then
song.
you got the Go New York, Go New York, Go. Which song do you think is better?
Dude, before any of that, the Orlando Magic TikTok is the best TikTok creator in the I said it to my friend this morning.
Yeah.
There is no better creator on TikTok right now than maybe besides you
Yeah.
than the Orlando Magic. That song is iconic. Their videos are iconic.
Well, first of all, I'm flattered. And second of all, I cannot agree more. I mean, the funny thing is you see the Dallas Mavericks posted them singing the Orlando Magic song after they defeated the Magic, which is a great troll. I mean, they're kind of
Oh,
begging for it. Which is funny. But I don't know. I like the Go New York, Go a little more just because it's New York, man. And
that's fair.
I'm not a Knicks fan, and I respect the Knicks, but you know, New York is New York City, man. Orlando is Orlando. Like, no
Mm.
disrespect to Orlando, but it's not New York City. Orlando Magic. Anyway,
That song's it is very catchy. I see what you're
both
coming
are
from.
very catchy.
I do have to say this is a very hot take. I love the Knicks, what they did with Jersey Joe, getting him a Knicks collab. I think that was very awesome. Very off topic, very random, but I mean the admins for the Knicks and the or Magic, they know what they're doing. They know what
Right.
they're putting online.
I mean, they both do, man. Um, Trade deadline is in the past. You
Yeah.
know, NBA season is kind of slowing down, but at the same time, you got one more season that's just about to get started. My personal favorite season, and that is baseball. And, every year I get disappointed with my New York Yankees. And I know you give me a lot about being a Yankees fan, but I will always love the New York Yankees. And adding Juan Soto might have been one of my favorite days of my life. Um,
Wow.
Considering this is a guy who's 24, 25 years old, arguably one of the best players in the league. You pair that with, in my opinion, the AL MVP to be Aaron Judge and the Cy Young winner, Garrett Cole. I mean, the New York Yankees look fantastic, man. And
Mhm.
it's really exciting. At the same time, though, one little thing goes wrong for that Yankees team, and the whole thing is blown open. So I saw something the other day with the bullpen. I mean, the bullpen is all right, but you also got to look at who's going to be next after, a guy goes down. A guy in the starting rotation is going to go down no matter what. That's just
Yeah.
what happens in baseball. I don't want to say I don't hope a guy gets injured, but
Mhm.
I mean, Stroman could go down. Cortez has had injury problems, you know, and you got like Clark Schmidt as your five. You're like, like he's not a
Yeah.
bad player, but is he a reliable starting pitcher in the Major League Baseball? Not really. So
Yeah.
it's challenging. Um, anyway, you're a Detroit Tigers fan.
Yeah. But wait,
Um,
one more thing. I'm gonna give you this take before anyone else says it. Me and my friend Sam Kustal have a $100 bet that the Yankees will not win. I think the Yankees will not win the AL East for the
yeah,
next, I think it's 9 years now. He disagrees.
not
I
win for the
think
next 9 years.
I think the Yankees will be the three in the AL East. They will make the wild card, but they'll be the three. That's my
Hmm.
prediction right now.
So right now, as a Yankees fan, obviously I want to say the Yankees want to be number one, but dude, those Orioles, they're good.
The
Uh,
only thing that I could see the Yankees in my mind changing is if they sign Blake Snell. The
that's fair.
market for players is still, who is it? Chapman still on the market, which would be a huge pickup. It'd be the biggest pickup for the Yankees, in my opinion, more than Juan Soto, because you fill that third base hole, which has been DJ LeMahieu's good, but he's not like anything special. And you can move him around you can move him around as much as you want.
Mm,
Cody Bellinger, who I was at that game where he hit that ball, like I think it was second deck. He'd be perfect for Yankee Stadium with this big lefty bat. And then you have Blake Snell, who I mean, but he wants the money, but as you said, like you can move Schmidt straight to the bullpen. You have Snell in there. That team is, I would say, probably the best team in the MLB. In my opinion, I hate the Yankees, but that team would be the best team in the MLB with
right.
Blake Snell.
Absolutely. Going back, National League, let's take a look over there. I mean, the Atlanta Braves, always a contender. The Philadelphia Phillies always find a way to beat that contender in the Atlanta
Yeah.
Braves recently. Um,
I feel
and
like
then, of
it's weird.
course,
Yeah, the MLB is very has moved around a lot from free agents. Like you still need free agents, but I mean, as a Tigers fan, we have our free agency has been full of Javi Baez
right,
contracts that I hate. But when you build up through the Orioles and Braves have proved it more than anybody else. Where if you draft amazingly, even low picks, like what
right,
is it? Ozzy Albies is under team control for the next like 8 years. Like that Braves team is going to be terrifying, like the entire NL East for so long.
yeah,
Phillies are always fringe, but that team's going to be together for a while too. Those teams that draft well is just everything, and those are the teams that win. Like Milwaukee, Milwaukee's going for that look now, trading away Burns, and they're not re-signing. Oh my God, Woodruff. They're sorry, I'm like tweaking out, but yeah, they're building more from the guys they brought up. They're building more for Jackson Torino. They're building more for their guys in the system. They have more teams like that. The Tigers are going all in on their system. They signed Colt Keith to a long-term deal, and he hasn't played a single game in the majors.
right.
Um, they have Jackson Jobe, they have Max Clark. They have a lot of good guys. I'm trying to think who else. Uh, the
I,
Marlins, the Marlins really want to build young too.
yeah. I mean, it's tough, man, because the National League, there's all these small market teams that are making really good moves. Like you were saying, Milwaukee's been making a lot of great moves. Well, other than getting rid of your best pitcher in the league.
Yeah, best player.
Other than
Yeah.
that, they've been making some pretty good moves. It's all just overshadowed though by this one team known as the Los Angeles Dodgers, who you know who Shohei is. I assume you know who Shohei Ohtani is. He's just maybe the best baseball player to ever exist. Um, got the biggest contract ever in sports, basically. He's pretty good at baseball, and the
Yeah,
Dodgers
that
just
is
signed him.
fair.
And the
I know who he
Dodgers,
is now. Yeah.
the Dodgers have historically been they never get the big guys. They always just get their small. No, this is a team that gets the good players, gets the elite players, and gets the guy. And they got the
And
guy.
they draft amazingly. That's the
Mhm.
scariest part about them is that they have all the money in the world, and then Gavin Lux came up with them. What's the ginger's name? Oh my God. You know who I'm talking about. Oh my God. This is gonna stress me out. You know what I'm talking about. They
Yeah,
built Walker Bueller. Oh my
Walker
God.
Bueller.
Walker
Yeah,
Bueller. Clayton Kershaw. They built up through their system and they just abuse that power, having too much money, trading away prospects, and then getting more in their system. They
yeah,
abuse Will Smith. Like half these guys came up with the Dodgers. They didn't come in, they came up.
right. And their ability to draft, their ability to develop these prospects, their ability to sign these free agents
Yeah.
makes them really good and really scary.
But
Uh,
also really hated. I think they're the most hated team in MLB right now.
Absolutely, which is crazy because the Yankees have historically been hated by a lot. But I mean, everyone is going to want to beat the Dodgers, and
Yeah.
that extra motivation of, especially coming the playoffs, that Dodgers team is going to be under a ton of pressure, a ton. And I'm not saying they can't execute because they sure can. They have the
Yeah.
guys
They
to
have
be
the personnel,
World
yeah.
Series champs in that lot in that roster, but whoever is going to play them, they're going to want to beat them. They're going to want to beat them bad. Look at that Arizona team last year. They
Mhm.
wanted to beat them bad, and they killed them in the playoffs. They swept them. Bada bing, bada boom, goodbye, see you later. And a lot of teams are going to want to do that. And
Mhm.
that's what scares the Dodgers and their fans is that everyone's going to want to come for them no matter what. Pitchers are going to throw harder. They're going to have more motivation. They're going to, you know, challenge them a little more. They're
Yeah.
gonna, really get in their heads a little bit. People are gonna want to beat the Dodgers, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I
And
think what they have 5 MVPs combined on that squad. They have guys with experience. So I do agree everyone's coming for them, but I don't think a guy like Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman's gonna be like a little wary of that. That team somehow, I don't know how, to have so many years of experience. Even what's his name? Yamamoto. He played 6 years in the MPB. That was his minimum before he can come over. So all those guys have experience. A
right,
team like the D-backs, that was a really young team. But do you think they can come back again? Who did they sign? They signed Jock Peterson back. They signed him again. I mean, Lourdes Gurriel is back. They still have all their pitching, but can they come back to be that
right.
same team?
I don't know. It's challenging. All
Yeah.
these things are challenging, especially, the Diamondbacks are a small market team. Take it what it is. They don't have the resources. And that's the thing about baseball that's can be frustrating sometimes as fans. The Oakland A's, who are controversial, and I see your
Yeah.
reaction right there. They just sell players. They develop, they make them good players, then they sell them for more prospects, and it just keeps on going and going and going and going. And then you got the polar opposite, where you got the Dodgers, the Yankees. I was going to say the Red Sox, but not really.
They're like, I would say they're
But
second
they're
tier.
there. You get what I'm
They're
saying.
up there, yeah. They have the
Uh,
money to do it.
and they develop, they get the big guys, they get the big dogs, and they try to win championships because they don't have to worry about the money as much.
Yeah. I think
And
it's so sad to see a team like the A's who had what is his name, Matt Olson and Matt Chapman, two
Marcus
players,
Simeon too. Yeah.
yeah, Marcus Simeon, three guys who were one of them won an MVP and two guys who are MVP candidates. Like that team could have been insanely good.
Right.
They had the personnel, they just couldn't put it together, and then they just wanted to blow it up. I think I can't think of another team who's that bad. That team is just maybe the Rockies, and the Rockies still have more potential. Like no team has really been on that type of downfall that the A's had. They
Mhm.
got their best prospect was Esty Ruiz this year, and he was a great player, better than me. But is he really all that? Is he like is he your Mikal Bridges? Can you build around him?
Mhm.
You really
Exactly.
can't. And they're moving a bigger market, but who wants to play baseball in Vegas? Like with a team that has nothing to prove, like nothing that they've done to prove that they can do anything, especially in one of the hardest divisions in baseball right now.
Hmm. And that AL West is tough, man. I mean, obviously, Texas Rangers have won it all, and then you got Houston, which is the new dynasty of the
Yeah.
21st century.
And the
Um,
Mariners really want it. The
Mariners
Mariners
really want it, man.
really want it.
And people don't talk about the Mariners, but they
Yeah.
really want it. And they're a really hungry team.
Yeah. I mean, I love Rodriguez. I love J Rod with all my heart. I think he's an amazing guy, even better player. So they're on the verge. Like, if you can get him in the playoffs, let him cook. Like, let him work. Because 3 or 4 years down, you know how it is. You're a Yankee fan. Like, guys start getting old. You lose Stanton. Stanton was way out of his prime when he came to the Yankees, and he's had some solid years. But when you're out of your prime as a baseball player, it's really tough to be at the same level.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, the timer is running out. I only have a minute left of storage, but 718 Sports, baby. Episode 1. What a start. What a great time with you. As always, always love hearing your insights. It makes me think every time I hear your voice. I'm like, am I really saying the right things?
Wow. That
Because
means
you make some
that's
great
awesome to hear.
points.
Making me sound smart.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. Well, remember to follow on Spotify and follow 718
All on
Sports.
all
All
platforms. For
platforms. We're
Miles.
going to have a
And
link
what's your TikTok?
and put in at Miles Talk Sports and TikTok as well. That's my personal channel. Hope to have you on it one day. And yeah, have a good evening and yeah,
See you next week.
see you next week.